I'm just trying to join the Zoom with computer.
There's another Kabelo Studios that has joined. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Dr. Fundi channel. You've joined us via multiple social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Today, it's an interesting day. I've got a mother and daughter, combo or duo. Since the beginning of the month, I've been hosting individuals, right, who are phenomenal women in their own rights. But today, I'm actually hosting mom and daughter who are phenomenal women in their own right, but they are so intertwined in terms of what they do that you can't interview one and leave the other. Yeah, about Dr. Tshepo Maaka and also Kabelo Maaka. All right, so we're gonna have a very interesting, discussion or conversation today. We will obviously start with Dr. Maaka because Kabelo is a product of Dr. Maaka. So we must start with the original one. And then we bring in Kabelo, and then we explore this synergistic, symbiotic relationship between them in the world of business, because they are both business people. They set up, an animation studio in Johannesburg, South Africa, which is doing great things, award-winning, studio that does animation work. But before we get there, I want us to just have a sense of just the family, starting with Dr. Maaka. But I won't be doing justice if I don't read a little bit about who Dr. Maaka is, and I'll do the same with Kabelo. And I got that from your, from your website. So let me start with you, Doc. Dr. Tshepo P. Maaka has been a medical practitioner registered with the Health Professions Council since 1993. So, no, since 1994. So you became a doctor when we got our freedom.
Yes. So yeah. Yes.
When people talk about born frees, I could say this is the doctor who's also a born free as a doctor, not necessarily.
True that.
Yes, yeah. And you've been practicing mainly in anesthesiology, and up until 2018, you've been running obstetric anesthetic practice both at Sunning Hill and Waterfall hospitals. Yes. And you want to tell me what's this attraction to anesthesiology? Before we get to the business side of you, you partnered with your daughter Kabelo in forming Kabelo Studios, and together you've combined your skills in medicine and animation to carve out a niche in the South African animation market. And you hope to produce content that can educate people on health in order to promote compliance, healthy living, and to produce better health outcomes. So you are actually looking at focusing on the preventative side of health, primarily, you know, informing people so that they can change their attitudes, they can change their behavior, and thereby reducing their risk profile. Whether we're talking about COVID-19 or diabetes or any disease, you know, and actually that angle is the angle of the future, because South Africa, the core of our healthcare system going forward is going to be on primary healthcare. And
Absolutely.
so you guys are actually, you know, focused on the preventative side of primary healthcare. However, even on the reactive side, where people need to take treatments and they must take them properly, you are also featuring there as well. So one can say along the value chain of disease management, your studio has got a role to play. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
thank you very much.
Yeah, let me talk about Kabelo. Now I can see where the Kabelo comes from. It's from those people who can't
exactly
Kabelo properly. You say, hey, Kabelo, you know. So you decided the name of the studio is going to be Kabelo, you know. So she is the creative director, animations director for Kabelo Studios. Kabelo is passionate about animation. She's passionate about sharing that passion with other people. She founded the Kabelo Studios in 2017 as part of her vision to be a game changer in the animation industry. You're going to tell us more about that, Kabelo, you know. And you received your Bachelor of Arts degree, honors in animation and script writing from AFDA. You're going to tell us what's AFDA. You also did your internship at some other place. Yeah, you're going to tell us more about that. But anyway, so you got your Bachelor of Arts degree in animation and script writing from AFDA. You were also part of the 2016 International Summer School in Character Animation at Gobelins. Hey, this name, it's a French name. Gobelins L. Ecole L. Image. Yo, tongue twister, please.
I'll explain how to pronounce them.
Yeah, you know, my tongue is very, 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 you know, coming from the southern part of South Africa, in the Eastern Cape, we tend to struggle with pronouncing other languages, let alone foreign languages. So please, you guys, you'll forgive me. But Kabelo is a visionary with a warm and infectious personality. Yes, I've experienced that. And she's also a curious and keen observer of life. So that is Kabelo. And we had talked about mom, you know, Dr. Tshepo Maaka. But about the studios, as a young South African studio, Kabelo Studios are full of life and excitement for the future of the local and international animations industry. After graduating from university and finishing her internship with the NFVF, National Film and Video Foundation, Kabelo, our founder, that is the founder of the studio, Kabelo, actioned out her childhood dream and created the studio. And the studio is about telling stories that educate and inspire people. The studio is about cultivating a unique voice that contributes meaningfully to the animations conversation. There's something that I also picked up about Kabelo Studios. I've already said it's an award-winning South African animation and illustration founded in 2017. You create short films, series, and medical animation. And you say you are full of quack. You're going to tell us what you mean by that. You are full of quack, Jesus, and magic. I need to know how this all fits in, the quack and the Jesus and the black girl magic. But anyway, Doctor, welcome.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. And hello to the viewers out there. And thank you for that introduction. You know, a surprise to both Kabelo and I after. After we did an animation project for you.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah, I also want to welcome Kabelo in her own right. I don't want her to be like an appendage. She is an individual in her own right. Kabelo,
Thank you.
welcome to the Dr. Fundi channel.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
All right. So I'm now going to turn my attention to your mom. You must chill a little bit, and then at the right time, you'll come in, Kabelo, right? Okay. Doc, just to kickstart our discussion, I want you to just quickly give us a sense of who Dr. Tshepo Maaka is. Where was she born? What kind of family? Was she a last born, first born? You know, and what were the early influences in your life? And what do you want to be when you grow up? Was medicine by default, or you were actually forced by your parents to actually do medicine? You know, and how has the journey been since you qualified and started being a doctor in 1994? So yeah, just take us on a journey. I will have minimal, interference as you talk.
Thank you for having us. Look, I am a girl from Limpopo, out of a small township called Mahwelering. I was born in Mahwelering, and I'm one of the girls. I'm a middle child, so totally ambitious. I'm a born-again Christian, but I have always wanted to be a doctor. From the age of 8, I've always wanted to be a doctor, and I became a doctor at the age of 22. So I was a very young doctor, and I don't mind revealing my age. So, and I've been doing this for so long. So I'm nearing 50, but I'm a mature doctor, and I've got an older sister and a younger sister. But my family is such that even my cousins are my sisters. So I saw there's a doctor called Dr. Tlatla. He's passed away now, maybe a couple of years ago. When I looked at him, and he became a doctor the year I was born. When I used to look at him, he used to look so angelic. He would wear a white coat, and white scrap and white shoes. So he had a halo around him every time he walked, and I wanted to be like him. And so he really influenced me and my journey to become a doctor. And like I said, I've always wanted to be a doctor from the age of 8, and I became one at 22. I also have been influenced by my grandmother, who was a nurse, a head of department in a nursing college, a very elegant lady, a lady of excellence, who traveled the world. So I used to look up to her. I didn't know that I liked what she liked until now. I reflect to see who had influenced my my life. And I went to vets. I studied at university. I was a doctor too, and I worked at Baragwanath as an intern. And then I even did. I remember one month I worked for Dr. Tlatla because he was my idol, Yeah. And then after Baragwanath, I was so tired of medicine. Bara was heavy at the time. Chris Hani Baragwanath is cool now. So I was so tired in 1995. I remember I wanted to just sleep for a whole year. Then, of course, you can't do that. I had a little one to feed at that time. So I then decided to, go into, I was a GP for a while, and I hated being a GP. And so I couldn't handle easy believer every Monday, or I couldn't like that. So I decided, no, I'm going to go back to school.
You were too ethical.
Anesthesia. And the reason for...
No, I was saying you were too ethical.
You say that again. I was.
To write sick notes for people who were not really that sick not to go to work.
Yes, people with babalas, hangover. I couldn't do that,
So you've always been principled.
Always been very principled. You're right. So I decided to go back to school and become a registrar in anesthesia, and only because I got the best mark in anesthesia, My top marks in all of my specialties was anesthesia. And because in matric, I was the top student in Leboa, and amongst the top 20 in the country. So I got an A in maths. So and anesthesia is all about numbers. So I decided anesthesia was the way to go. And then later I realized I didn't like long, protracted ward rounds. Anesthesia, you go in and out. So I liked that. I like that anesthesia.
So you got your fellowship in anesthesia? Doc?
No, I didn't get to my fellowship. I just did time, and then I left. I went to work.
Okay, but we need to go back now. Obviously, we've fast-tracked a few things. So, when did Kabelo, come to this world? Obviously, she came to you.
It's a good question.
I will let you on a secret.
Yeah.
My daughter came in my last year of my medical studies. In fact, she was born 2 months before I graduated. So, like my mother said, I came back with a degree, and then I came back with my daughter.
Huh. Okay, so that was the some double celebration. Ring.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. All right. So, in your early years, in that hectic bara, you now have a little one, but then you've got these long calls that can be 36 hours or even, sometimes even longer. How were you able to juggle, the demands of your work and also being a mother?
I can tell the first 3 years were easy. Being an intern and being a mother was not easy, but I have a very, very supportive family, and my daughter, stayed with my aunt, my daughter stayed with my mother, and I could those long calls and then see my daughter when I was off,
Yeah.
And I'm a person of routine, so I had such a strict routine that I made sure that, I could always spend time where even when I was younger, but it was hectic. And we had something called Tier 12, Baragwanath, and we used to see like 600 patients, 6 interns. It was hectic. I mean, that was heavy.
So it seems like Bara traumatized you a bit. When you are explaining this story, I can see it on your face that, it's definitely not a place you'd love to go and work in because of the workload that you guys had to deal with as junior doctors.
Look, we call it Bara experience. Unless you have gone to Bara, you cannot really explain it. Not only was the workload a lot, it was that just doing your job sometimes could be difficult. I mean, there were times when I would be a porter, I would pick up my patient myself, I would have to feed the children sometimes, I would have to go around looking for tongue depressors or thermometers. So just do a job sometimes were heavy, up and above the number of patients we had to see. So it was intense. It was tense, and to have a little one on top of that, only God.
So was the little one here in Gauteng, or was the little one Ring?
I decided that I do not want a child that's going to be raised by a grandmother. So the child was here.
Yeah. Okay.
If I think only went home maybe for 3 months or something, but most of the time here.
Yes. Okay. So you were hands-on as a mother, in spite of all your busyness. You were there
Absolutely
from the beginning. Lovely, lovely. All right.
Absolutely. So, and I'm hands-on.
Yes. And so Kabelo was born. So you're saying you graduated in 1994. So she was born in 1994.
Yeah.
Or 95.
Yes.
Yeah.
94. I'm an actual born free.
So this thing that we call apartheid, you just hear about it. You know nothing about it besides the stories that you hear from us.
Yeah,
Lovely,
no, that's true.
Lovely. All right. Mahulereng is a very, very hot place in Port Gitisris, it's now got another name, Mukopane, right? So I've got some relatives there from time to time. I go to that place, and I once spent Christmas in Mahwelereng, and it was like there's no air. It was so hot and dry, and there are these mountains around the township where it's like it's blocking the air from coming. So yeah, but anyway, that's not about me now. It's about Mahwelereng. So Kabelo, let's get back to you now. So you were born as a born free. Your mom was a junior doctor. She was actually hands-on as a mom. What do you remember of your early childhood?
I mean, there's a lot of different things I remember. I want to share two stories, and maybe it's also kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but the one story is I remember this one time my mom had to go to the hospital for whatever reason and do work of a doctor. And I was very young, and I remember I was in a doctor's room or something. And it's late at night. I remember I was watching a black and white TV. So I'm one of the last young people who knows what a black and white TV looks like. And I remember I was watching a black and white TV and I fell asleep. And when I woke up in my room. And every time I asked Mama about this story, I'm like, did this happen? Did I actually fall asleep in a doctor's room or did I dream it? Like, no, it happened. We went to the hospital. I took you with me. I had to do the work. When I was done, I took you home. When you woke, you were in your room. So that happened a lot where I was in the hospital space, but when I woke up, I was home. So I could never tell if that actually happened or if it was a dream. But it just affirmed what my mom was saying, that she was hectic, but I was hectic with her, And then the other story is when I was younger, we used to hide DVDs every weekend instead of physically going to the cinema. And actually, I preferred the DVDs more than the cinema because then I'd be able to watch behind the scenes. And my mother, Jim, you were so kind. She really entertained these animation DVDs every week. We would hire her film, we would hire my film from the kids section until we'd seen every single film that was available. And it was through those films every weekend that I started to learn what animation was and that it was actually something made by people and I could use it and become an animator.
So which was your favorite, or which were some of your favorite characters or cartoon characters, Flintstones and whatever, which ones were your favorite characters growing up?
Gosh, it's so hard to say who's your favorite because I just slept on Cartoon Network channel. But I think growing up, some of my favorite characters were the Powerpuff Girls. Yeah, I loved them a lot. I used to draw them all over the place on papers and house. She says I used to draw in her textbook. So the Powerpuff Girls were some of my favorite characters, maybe because they were girls and they were saving the day, but they're still cute. Maybe that's why I love them so much. But yeah, those are my favorite characters.
Right. Mom.
And look, I watched each and every one of those. The Lion King, everything that she watched, I watched with her.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's why you are now able to fit in within this business then. Because the situation forced you to actually, get through the animation as well. It was preparing you for your current role, but how was she in terms of drawing and arts, during the school years?
Look, she started doing at the age of 3.
Wow.
She used to draw inside all of my anatomy books, my anesthetic books, the walls. She would draw walls. She's got a stack of paper where she has been drawing. I think her first official portrait she did when she was 5 and I framed it. So she's always been drawing, but the reason why I was supporting her was at the age of 8, I knew what I wanted to do. So I wanted her to do what she wanted to do. So I'd always support her. We would buy pencils, and wherever we went, there was always a sketch and a pencil. Even now, at her age, wherever we go, She always had a sketchbook and a pencil. So she's always, but I didn't know then that she was going to be an animator. I just thought this, she loves art, she loves draw. And in school she went to, they were promoting arts. And there were times when I was like, I wanted to be a doctor, because,
I'm coming to that part.
Following my steps. But I realized she was doing what she wanted.
Yeah. Kabelo, your interest, when did you start to think I could actually make a living and a future in animation? At what point in your growing up?
So the first time that I recognized that animation was a career was I watched the behind the scenes of Finding Nemo. And I saw how they created, because Finding Nemo is that underwater animation with fish. And I saw they created the water effect. It was all using computer
Generated
software and all of it. And I was amazed because, I mean, I think when you're a child, you have flawed logic. You just think it's magic and it's on the box and you watch it every week. You don't realize that the things that exist in the world are created by people. And so I saw these animators talking about how they managed to replicate this water effect. And then I realized, oh, this thing is done by people. I don't know what it's called, but I want to do that. And then we slowly figured out that, okay, maybe it can be cartoonist like Zapiro.
Yeah.
And then we realized, okay, it's animated because it's like the comic strips, newspapers that are still with animation, everything moves.
Yeah.
And then from there, we started looking at the university. Some of my friends share books with me on how to different styles of animation. And that's when I started to figure out that, okay, it could be a career for me. 11 when I watched the Finding Nemo video.
Now,
and also, just to add, she...
Yeah, I'm listening.
You see a book like this, she would draw little things on the book. And then when I opened the pages, the image would be moving, from a very young age. And I would do this, and the image would be look like it was moving. So that's when I realized she doesn't want to be a cartoonist. She wants to make moving pictures, animation. And she was at around 11.
Yeah. Now, for you, Doc, almost as medical doctors, somewhere deep inside of you, there's a part of you want your child to either be a doctor. If they can't be a doctor, maybe accounting or engineering, these mainstream professions that, parents always want their kids to. So, and when your child starts to say, I want to do something arty, even if you are actually, a progressive parent, but there's that part of you that's like, I wish she can still say, no, I want it as a hobby. Actually, she must still do medicine. So I want to know with you, just be truthful now to us. I know you could see that she was talented art-wise, but deep down inside of you.
There was, I think probably when she was much younger, before we realized that truthfully this is what she wants to do. I used to be like, maybe she could do accounting, she could do business, right? Actually told her she must do accounting at school, so that whatever she does, there'll be the business behind it. I never really wanted her to go to med school. I threatened her with med school if this animation was not going to make money or was not going to be a real. I said to her, I tell you, if your first project doesn't make TK, I'm taking you to medical school. But what made me support her was that I was what I love, which is medicine. And from a young age, I knew I wanted to be a doctor. So I had to be fair and allow her to do what I knew she could do, even while she was, she could wake up to every morning without complaining. So that is why I then invested time in understanding what animation was, and also invested in making sure that she gets the proper training. I told her that she would have a degree at least, and she has to be competent enough to be able to produce excellent quality work. So I've been all over with her. We went to CalArts in California, in Burbank. We went to Disney probably 3 times because I want to understand how they make the money. Without me wanting to get involved, just for it to be able to be an animator, a quality animate. And even South African studios, she did a job showing. I found a company she could do job showing. So really, I started working my career, I was helping her carve out hair. So the only thing about med school was just to threaten her. If it didn't work, I swear I'm taking you to school.
Yeah. All right. So it means the threat worked because she made sure that she was focused. But where did she do that undergraduate degree in Bachelor of Arts? Where did she attend varsity?
So I went to, so the school's name is called AFDA. I went matriculated in 2012 from St. Mary's in Waverley. And then I went to AFDA. I went to their Cape Town campus. And it's a culture shock because St. Mary's is a very traditional school. It's got a lot of history. It's a private school, all girls. It's very structured. So now I went to film school. Everything is artistic and subjective. It was like a real environmental shift to go to AFDA. But then I did all kinds of things in film as well. So not just animation, I also did film editing, I did script writing, so different aspects of the film industry as well, which I think it helps now to have a kind of an overall view of how to make films in general. So I finished my undergrad in 2013. Not 2013, what am I saying? In 2015. And then in 2016, that was when I was an intern with the NFVF. I was doing my master's degree, and I was at the French animation school at the drama school program. So the name of school is Kabelo L'École de l'Image. It means. Should I say it again?
Say it again slowly. Yeah.
It's called Kabelo L'École de l'Image.
Right. So
it means Kabelo, the school image. Oh yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So, but I want to know.
Oh, okay.
How did you find
that
place? How did you find that I need to go to this place to refine my skills? And obviously, if you have to go there, you pay in euros. All right. Yeah, Doc, you can come in.
Yeah. No. So I mean we can answer it both ways. So you can.
I was looking for the top animation school in the world. So I found top 10 animation schools in the world, and CalArts and LeBlanc were alternating between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then of course you look at the payment, and euros were better. Better for her to Euro than to go to the US. And anyway, what she wanted to do, which was character animation, they didn't have at CalArts for the period that we wanted it for. So I found the school, and by God's grace was able to pay for it out of my season. I was doing at 3 in the morning.
But I mean, I wouldn't have known they had an English program if she hadn't told me, because I always knew about the school. But because it was French, I just thought, oh, you're not going to go there because you can't speak French. But the reason why we decided to go was because when I was in 4th year, I was the only animation student in a 4th year. And I was the first one that they had in almost 10 years.
Yeah.
So I was a bit of a guinea pig. I remember before the school year started, we went to the department and we said to her, these are the things that I would like to learn about animation as a 4th year student. So I told her I want to learn about the business side of animation. I want to learn about how to run an animation company. I would like to go overseas to study or some kind of exchange program. And then we offered her this French school that we had found. And so we were very intentional about the career path in doing 4th year. And also because as much as I appreciated, sorry.
No, continue.
Yes.
Continue. Kabelo, you can continue.
Oh, as much as I appreciated my film school and them wanting to teach us about film. I felt like I still wasn't strong enough as an animator. So when I went to France, my teachers worked for Disney. They worked at DreamWorks. They worked at these huge American animation studios, and they would tell you about these experiences on films I grew up loving. And when they would guide you with your assignments, they really knew how to pull out your potential and show you how to think and show you how to really bring out, emotion and character into your stories. And for me, it really changed my perspective as an animator.
Yeah. Now,
and she can like a better animator.
Yeah. Now, what I want to know, Doc, you were earning in rands, and you were having to pay in euros. That must have been hectic, man, Doc.
Totally. I mean, I tell you, at the time, I could have had all the handbags I wanted and all the shoes I wanted and everything. But, in a sense, my folk, my family, parents invested in my education. Education is very important for every member of our family. Yeah. I had to invest in her because I've seen what education has done from my grandparents to the little ones we have now. I needed to invest. Yes, it was a lot. I worked quite a lot. I mean, those who know me, my colleagues will, I put in enough hours, and then I was able to, sacrifice some of the things so she could be who she wanted to be. So, So yes, paying in euros was something else, and that's she has to work so hard now.
Some return on investment is required soon at Kabelo, right? Doc, there's something I like about what you did with Kabelo. What I like is the fact that you firstly did not push her to do mainline professions. I think most parents, they actually sometimes, what we talk when we talk about vicarious living, stuff that they wanted and they want to live it through their children. So you did not do that. I think that's number one. That's very important. Yeah. And I think the second one that I like about what you did, Doc, is that when you allowed her to do whatever she wanted, you then said, which program in the world will make her a world-class person in whatever field that she has chosen? And once you were able to identify the number one and number two, you made means for her to then get there, so that she is on par with anybody in the world in her craft, Because sometimes, we choose names of universities and whatever, which may not necessarily have the program being a top-rated program that the child has chosen. So you were not driven by the name of an institution. You were driven by the ranking of the program in the world. And that, to me, it's something that parents need to look at, because if you take vets that you went to, it is known to be good for certain programs, not for all its programs. For example, if you want mining engineering, deep mining engineering, vets is the best in the world. You don't need to take your child to MIT or Harvard for deep mine engineering, However, if you want, let's say you wanted the top whatever other program, you must then see the ranking of that program in the world. So for me, I'm just saying, I like what I hear, because you've given her the best, the best foundation for her to be able to thrive in her chosen profession. And I hope many parents can learn.
Thank you very much for that.
There's an element of privilege, because you could earn a little bit more, you could work longer hours as an anesthetist, you could forgo Louis Vuitton and Gucci, and and those kind of things that you get at the Diamond Walk incentive, Yeah. But anyway, all right. So, Doc, now she came back, she qualified. What was next?
Look, if it just go back to that, I said to her, you can do film, just don't make your hair red or pink. You just be that film student, come back looking like what I said to university. So I was happy when she came back.
And that was me.
She was still herself.
Yeah.
Look, when she came back, I said, I literally said this to her. Because we have invested so, I had invested much in terms of cost and money in animation. We have to make it work. So when she came back, I think at the beginning, I thought she was going to be able to work for Disney or Pixar. I remember I bought a birthday cake with an animated Pixar on it, because I would probably, because that's favorite studio, Pixar. I thought she would go there. But then we tried even at home to, and animation is not big in South Africa. We tried to get her into, to find
trying to find
different internships and places to work, and we couldn't find it. And then, just in 2017, we decided we're gonna take the bulls by the horn, and she registered Kabelo Studios.
Yeah, if I can jump in.
Yeah.
I had finished the internship program with the National Women Video Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very grateful for it because it gave me the necessary work experience. So if I needed to apply somewhere else, I could say, here, I've done an internship, which means, I'm a capable person.
Mm-hmm.
But through that internship, I was with a whole company who was doing animation, but wasn't the kind of animation that we do with Kabelo, where it's character-driven. It was lots of like advertising and logo and brand-based stuff like that, motion graphics. And once that internship ended, the employer decided to, part ways. And I thought, okay, I don't want to be a statistic, because in South Africa, youth unemployment is very high, even if you are a graduate. So I thought, hey, Kabelo, you have a dream, you want to tell your own story, you want to change how people view and use animation. Why don't you just now and register Kabelo Studios? I didn't do a business really. I thought I was going to be those people who work somewhere else for a long time, pick up a lot of experience, and then decide to do their own thing. I didn't think I would start so young, but it was, we're just going to take a leap of and start. And it was also because if I'm going to be a graduate, I'm not going to be an unemployed graduate. I will even hire myself if I have to.
Yeah.
So that was all the thinking.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So I just want to get some basic information now from Kabelo. When you were qualified, after coming back from France, right? What skills did you have? Things that you could do? Because we're now gonna get to Kabelo, the studio itself, the offering. We're gonna get there now. But I just want to know, when you finished your training, what are the things that you knew, I can do this?
So I'll just break them down and I suppose maybe explain. So when I graduated from university, I graduated as an animation director, which means I knew how to make a complete animated project from start to finish. So I knew how to come with the vision, I knew how to write a script, I knew how to do something called a storyboard, where you draw the version of the animation. I knew how to video edit, so I knew how to edit the videos. In fact, when I was in France, I filmed that entire experience and edited it together, posted it on my YouTube. And then I knew how to do sound design. So that way you record the voices of the characters, you edit sound and the music in, so you hear the punching and the kicking, you hear the music together. So I knew how to do sound design. I also knew how to lead a team of animators, because as students, when you're a senior student, the junior students assist you on your project. And so then you lead them, you give them tasks and you guide them. And you also are supposed to help improve their skill as well. So I knew how to do all of that. And then also I knew how to draw. Just naturally, I knew how to draw. So I put all of those skills into Kabelo Studios. So yeah, so I knew I was skilled in animation. The things that I needed were Dr. T's business acumen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We're gonna go back to her business acumen. All right. Okay. Maybe let's get back to that business acumen. Let's hear her. Doc, you manufacture scrubs. You know those green things. Oh, there's many colors nowadays that are much more hip than when we were training. But you manufacture those things as a business, right? Can you tell us a little bit how you got to do that? Has it got anything to do with the idle time that you had, after you've made the patient to fall asleep, before the patient wakes up? There's many hours there if they're long op. So so your mind was wandering around and all you can see is people wearing green and you thought, actually, I can make business out of this thing. How did it come about?
You are so wrong. You're so wrong. Why do people? I didn't sit and do nothing in theater.
No.
No, look,
No, go ahead.
Look, I think I don't know. I know that I had a love for business.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was a managing trainee at a pharmaceutical company, and then I was a regional CEO at Netcare and for HIV. And while I was there, that I went to school to do a master's in public health management.
Okay.
And then one of the things, the topic, my thesis at the time that I was planning was cross-border healthcare service provision. Yeah. And then I found out that it was called medical tourism. So my first business was in medical tourism in 2004. I mean, I knew nothing about business, but I was bringing foreign patients into the country. And I love the fact that I was a medical person who could do medical business. So that was my very first business. It was in medical tourism. And, you're a doctor, you always want food in with patients. That's always in theater, Yeah. And I loved being in theater, but I hated how we looked. We like, we came out of the mouth of a cow, and that used to bother me, and sometimes there was a time when I saw a colleague wear scrubs and pants fell because they were so big, and there was and sometimes we have to put stepping across because the knee is too low. Yeah. I decided I don't want to look like this. I want to look good. Yeah. So that's why I then decided to go into T scrubs. So and because one of my mentors had said to Dr. T, your skills are medicine, so you go to business. Go to medical business. So I did medical tourism, I did a medical scrub, and now I'm in medical animation because I'm a doc at heart.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but doc, there's just one little part I'm missing. At medical school, most medical schools, at least up until recently, it was a swear word to teach any basic business courses like accounting, and in fact they discouraged anybody who was thinking business, because it was like you are not being committed to the calling, but the reality is that when you go and work, whether you work as a GP like you did or go back and specialize, majority will come back and run a practice. Now, how do you run a practice? Is a business, it's for profit, but how do you run that without the business skills? You've got accountants around here, people want to sell you life insurance and investments and whatever. You don't know a difference between an income statement and the balance sheet, between profit and cash flow, So when did you do those things before you went into medical tourism, or you just went head in?
Look, I know medical school. I mean, they did us an injustice not teaching us business courses. When I realized that I couldn't go to an MBA, what I did is I got myself 3 mentors. Vukanyile and Shlima Bohwane, people that were big in business, and I then allowed myself to be under their privilege so they can teach me how to do business. That's number one. And number two, I went vets and I did finance for financial management because I realized I had to be able to read, the spreadsheets, and I didn't want to be a foolish doctor. They're such intelligent people, yet we can't read the numbers. So I went to vets to do a finance for non-financial managers. Yeah. Then vets business school used to have marketing nights, Wednesday nights. So because I didn't have the skills in marketing and business development, I would go to GIPS on Wednesday night for an hour to listen to marketing experts so that I could then learn how to do marketing, how to business development, and vets then helped me with financial management. I mean, for me, my first business in medical tourism was where I learned all our business, and I enjoyed it. And I tell Kabelo now that at Kabelo Studio, I feel like, we're into a business because I know so much about how to run business.
Right, because you were acquiring all of that knowledge because you were going to actually use that to, to now mentor the young one who had a technical skill but no business skill, So actually,
And I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I was doing it for myself. I was doing it for me. I didn't know that we would work together at all.
All right. So she came back. She couldn't find a job. And she was determined that she was not going to be a statistic of unemployed graduate. And she then said, you know what? I've got skills and I actually can do stuff and generate income. So when did she come to you and actually convince you that she wants to start a business?
Oh yeah, when did I? I honestly feel like it was very natural. It was like, hi mom, I'm doing this today. But I remember that when I was still in fourth year, I knew that I still needed certain tools. So my mom graciously paid for my studies, which has helped me because I finished university without it. And she also would give me a little bit of an allowance because I was away from home. So I used to save that allowance and put it away every month. And then eventually, once I had allowance saved up, that was first money that I used it.
Yeah. If you put away euros, little bit of euros, when you come back home, you convert that into rands. That's a lot of money. Right?
But they were rands. I promise they were rands. But I would save that. But I remember I felt like I needed some tools. So for my 21st birthday, my family bought me a little device. It was my aunt and my two aunts. They bought me a little drawing device that allows you to draw digitally on the computer. Once I got that device, I felt like whether I'm doing it now as a student, whether I'm gonna do it after I graduate, I felt like now I'm ready because I had saved up to purchase software I needed. I was using whatever free tools I could find online to teach myself, and then my family gave me the device, which I still have. It's called a Wacom tablet, and then that's when I knew, okay, I have tools. When internship ended, I kind of was floating for a little bit, trying to figure out. My mom calls it an accidental gap year because I was trying to figure out what kind of work would I do. Sometimes my family would ask me to do things, and then I would charge them plus a family discount. Sometimes my friends would ask me to do things. So I get little animation and drawing odd jobs here and there. And I think in February of 2017, I'm not sure, I just decided, okay, girl, you're going to just start for yourself and then move forward. But it took a while to actually, I guess, get that business mindset.
Yeah. I watched as she now started, okay, business I want, and then I kicked in with, now things have to have milestones. There are things we have to achieve, And I was just helping her to get her business off the ground. And then I realized there's more need than just helping her off, because she's technically skilled, but business is something else. So then I by default find myself now working with her at Kabelo Studios. It was never planned. It was just to help her get going. And I said to her, how can I do clients? You know? And then I said to her, why don't we do medical animation?
Yeah, and I was not very excited at first, not because I didn't recognize how brilliant it was. I was like, who comes with an idea? This is brilliant. But then I was like, but I want to do movies, I want to TV shows, medical, how does it work? But, you know, as we were creating our project and starting to potential clients, I really started to embrace the idea more, because I saw this is a very unique way of entering the market. I don't have to do what everyone else is doing, try to push the latest TV show and try to get on Disney and repeat what other people have done. Now we can service a different industry and make a name for ourselves with something unique. So yeah.
And leverage the strength of both of you, because she's strong as a medical doctor,
yes,
right? Who is not really a creative. Your medical school kills creativity, man. All right. You know, for most guys, not everybody, but for most people. But so she was bringing in the understanding of the medical space. You were bringing in the creativity and the technical ability. And together, it's actually 1 + 1 becoming 3. It's a synergy, you know?
Yeah.
And so you guys then by default you became business partners, because now she is the business development director, right? And you are the creative director in the business. All right. Now, when did you decide that these are the offerings that we are going to provide to our clients?
You know, I had this business.
I'm saying out of the many things that she could do, but you needed to choose a few that will be the services that you will enter the market with. So how did you do that?
Yeah. So for me, it's let's look at the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
So it was let's look at the low-hanging fruit. I'm a medical person, you're an animator, let's do medical animation. I have a vast network of people within the medical fraternity, including PhDs that can go and talk to and do animations for. So we then decided that our end point into the market would be medical animation. And you know, as doctors always do, we do a lot of research. I researched medical animation across the world, and then I came to her and said this would be good. I know there was a bit of a apprehension about it, and when we were able to then get our first tent, which was a pharmaceutical company, and we realized that actually this could be done, that became our major offering. And then we also decided that because she has to tell stories, our medical animation would be inclined to storytelling rather than a boring, factual, medical scientific thing. So we tell stories, medical stories using animation. That's not all. We also do, because you know, I had to be fair, you know, to say this is your business, this is your craft. We will have to do everything else that you want to do. So we do short series. You know, we are in the middle of, so we did a medical, our maiden film, 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, was produced last year and released in November. And so we're working on a short series, which is non-medical, called FAM. And we're working on COVID-19 work. You know, we're working on basic, both medical and non-medical, you know, and also client work. So we can also tell you some of the client work that we do.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, me and you, Doc, we met maybe about a year ago and you showed me some of the work that she does. And at the time, we were revamping our website, and I wanted to make use of you guys, but there were a few challenges, and we put a pause on that. You know, but already for me, what you showed me as a business development director, actually you represented her very well because she wasn't there, you know, but you talked about this thing as if you also went through those schools, you know. But anyway, so when I looked at your website, so you guys do 2D animation, you do medical animation, the you do illustrations, character designs, teaching and mentoring, storyboarding, script writing, stop motion. You're gonna tell us what those things are because I don't know them, you know, and I'm sure most people who are watching here, you know, they don't know them. I don't want you to bore people with a long process, but generally, after you've been given a brief by a client, let's say PHS, all right, gives you a brief on what they want. What do you go through to make sure that you deliver on that brief? Just generically.
So, okay, so when we get a brief, we always break down brief and turn it into some kind of story. And so the behind the scenes processes, I do some rough sketches that mainly I'm usually the one who understands them. So I would do rough sketching to come up with the best representation of the brief. Then we send the client our first draft of the brief. You see your characters, you see how the story could be, and then the client gives us feedback saying, I like this, I don't like this, change that, change the thing. And then once we get that initial feedback, we send them something called a storyboard, which is like a rough sketch of your story, where you see your main character, you see them interacting with each other in black and white, doesn't have color yet. It's a comic strip. Yeah. So that is the main blueprint of the animation. Once that is sorted, everything else is formality. So I'll just explain, with film, your movie gets created once you have filmed all of your scenes, all your locations, all your characters. Your film gets created when you edit and you piece it together. With animation, your film gets created before you animate. So that's the reason why the storyboard is almost the most vital part of animation. We create character design. See your character, they have green hair, they have brown hair. Should they be white? Should they be black? South Africa is very important to be aware of diversity. So we also have to have those conversations with our clients. Once the client is happy with the characters, happy with the storyboard, and they've seen an example of what the animation could look like in full color, that's when they give us the go ahead, and we make the character move, we make them talk, we make them think and interact with each other. That part is the most time-consuming part, but the most satisfying part. And then from there, we add our music, and we add our sound if there's voiceover, for example, and then we hand it back to the client in the format that suits wherever the final animation will live. So that is the process. It can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months, depending on the complexity of the project.
Yeah. So what's the most complex work that you've actually been asked to do?
So, I mean, I suppose it could be two things.
Two things, yeah.
So last year, we created our first short film, 3 Spoons of Sugar. And that film we created in the middle of doing a client work. So that film, we pitched the project to the Gauteng Film Commission, who then ended up sponsoring and funding the project, as well as the National Film and Video Foundation. Yeah. And then also French animation studio called T-Paint also gave some sponsorship for the project. Yeah. And we pitched the project in May. The project was very different from other client briefs. Client briefs are quite straightforward. Once the client tells you what they want, it's an easier journey to get their project done. But 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, it was an unused project because it was actually based off of our own family. And we used my grandmother's voice, we used my aunt's voice in the animation to tell the story of how they have lived with diabetes. And the project we started in May and finished it right up till it needed to come out in November. So that was a long process of trying to match a real story with real people with animated visuals. And so that was quite a complicated process, and it all tested us as a studio that we can make a slightly longer piece of content that has story and emotion, but also medical facts that are authentic.
And just to add to that, the reason why it is very complex is that we needed to show, a heart block, for instance, an animated heart block with a dialysis, like the medical things that people with diabetes get complications. So it was a test for the collaboration between medicine and animation. And to our joy and delight, it made it to the top animation film festival in the world. Our very first project that I thought was the most challenging made it to IC 2020 in June this
year. Beautiful. Because now there's somewhere in your website where you guys say award-winning animation studio. So which awards have you guys won?
So last year we participated in the Gauteng Accelerator program underneath their medical category. So it's a program for startups that are coming up with innovative solutions, and we were in the medical space. And we pitched to them our medical animation business model, and it's like a year-long program. They did kinds of business teaching from Emory University. We had different rounds where we had to polish up the strategy of the business and all of that. And then we had a full presentation. We had to kind of bring it all together and show evidence that our project was our product market ready. And we won first prize for that. And then and that came with more opportunities for us to make more animation. And then at the same time, we entered a non-medical project called the FAM into an animation competition called Animation Beyond. It's also a French competition. It's called Animation Without Borders. So we pitched this project so that to see if we can make this TV show. And it ended up getting a special recognition award because it's ambitious quality and its unique story. And then
those basically.
Oh yeah.
But our Authorities has made semi-finals for Lagos Animation National Festival, for Accra International Animation Festival. There's a China Festival for scientific producers. So there's been a lot of accolades in the last 4 months that we have been able to acquire just from doing one short film that is 13 minutes long, 3 spoons of sugar. So I think the decision to go into medical animation was that one.
Yeah. Well, but it mustn't kill the other interests, that she has beyond medical animation. They must still be there, right?
No, they are still there. I mean, the good thing is that medical animation is teaching us how to make animation on a consistent basis, how to have a rhythm as a team, and then also, having cash flow. So that the other passion projects that take a little longer to create have the breathing room to be created. So there's benefit on both sides.
Right.
And if I were to add on that, we did an animation for a fuel app, a petrol. It had nothing to do with medicine. And we are currently working on a big project about campus values, which nothing to do with medicine. And then because we are mom and daughter, we have created a series called End Daughter. We have a series called that is in production. Then we have the FAM, so there are a lot of things that will happen that are not medicals, but we will at all times always medical projects and non-medical projects.
All right. Now that you've spoken, okay, in June, we had commissioned her, or well, we commissioned you guys to make a 3-minute animation video for one of our services, which is counseling services. And you guys were able to deliver that before the end of the month, because that was Youth Month, and for us, it was important we support a youth-driven, type of business. All right, fine. And in my excitement about the project, or the product itself, I shared it on my Facebook page to say, at least this is our little contribution to advancing a young person. Little did I know that, in my network of people who are in Facebook is some top company marketing, executive who a month later approached me to say, can you connect me with that studio? And yesterday you confirmed to me that it's now history. You guys have got the business, and it's a huge business, and I'm very excited for you. Very, very excited, because it's important to give opportunity to women-owned businesses and also youth-owned businesses, and for them to have confidence in you guys to actually, and I mean, you were competing with established people, but my understanding is that you guys, you didn't have competition, and you are young, you're a young company, that is driven by passion and youthful energy, which even mom, I can see, even looking at the hair, mommy is also trying to be youthful. So I just wanted I just wanted to just congratulate you for landing a big account of a JSE listed company in South Africa that believed in you, that sees magic in you, and may you just grow from strength to strength as an animation studio. And I hope the work you do there will also translate to more work from other corporates.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. In fact, we draw strength from each other. I learn from her, she learns from me. And one thing that I said to Kabelo is, at our studio, we should always produce excellent work. So nothing less than excellent is unacceptable. So I am grateful that the creative team has taken it upon themselves to be excellent in producing content, so that even big companies, such as Boehringer Ingelheim, could actually come to us and say, and Sanofi, to say, we would like to work with you. So really encourage, and I want to thank you immensely for what you've done for us, because we couldn't have gotten this account without you having shown off what we did for you.
Yes, lovely. No, but I'm very proud of her work. I mean, the stuff you did for us, because we were worried about COVID, we didn't want to spend a lot of money. So we went for the cheapest option, but the cheapest option was still good enough to attract and show people, the ability of your studio. Our next briefing, we will be briefing you in the next 3 months, one of our services, and also there is a project I'm working on in partnership with some other, company, no names as yet. So there's at least 2 projects that will be coming away. So, but let's move on from that. Now, I want to know the capacity of the studio. Because obviously I see you, Kabelo, I see Doc, but do you have a team behind you, people who help you to do the work?
Yes, we do. So we so I don't just work in animation, I also teach animation, and we were able to hire former students of mine, Tanika Pillay and Nariana Gerb, They are part of our animation team as permanent employees at Kabelo Studio. So they also helped create the project they made for you. And then because we went to France and all of that, I was able to get an even wider network of animators all over the world, you know, people who are in Egypt and people who are in Hawaii. So those are also our contacts for when we need more hands for bigger projects.
Capacity.
And then also with 3 Teaspoons Sugar, we had one other animator as well, Jeannie Vati. She was a student with me when I was at AFDA, so she was my junior at AFDA. And so I like to work with people who are close to me in that way, because then I know their style, I know how they work, I know them personally. The people that I work with also ended up being female animators, which was not my intention, but I realized, oh, okay, I'm actually working with a lot of women in the studio. It doesn't just say I would work with males, but it, I guess, ends up being a way of kind of dealing with the fact that the animation industry is quite male dominated.
Yeah.
And so that also is our input as a studio.
And
All right,
then
so
just to add on that, we are also looking at anime.
No, I just wanted to find out. Sorry, Doc. Sorry for interjecting. So it's not because she's allergic to men or because she's working with mom. You know, there must be no men around. You know.
No. It didn't even come up as a topic. When we're choosing who to be around us, they ended up being female. I don't know. No.
I have no qualms about development life, so that is not my problem. In fact, I encourage her quite a lot. She knows I encourage her to have acquaintances with everyone. But I just wanted to add that we are looking at interns, locally, so that we grow our team. So even now, I'm talking to the NFF about animation interns so that we can on animators. Yes. My plan is to have 30 animators within a space of a few years, because animation is very labor intensive. We need a lot of hands, so we have big projects that we're working on, and we can't always rely on people from elsewhere. So we have to build our own team. So I am constantly looking at new animators to take on as interns, and then junior animators, and then they grow within the studio.
Beautiful. So that's your empowerment of other women, starting from exposure to young girls and those who are already at the film school, and giving them internship and the tutoring and the teaching that she's doing. Because you see, being Women's Month, I have to ask those questions around what are you doing to empower other women or young girls? So you've already answered that, and I'm happy with that. So, but looking forward, let's say 5 years from now, where do you see Kabelo Studios? Everything working your way, all your prayers being, answered by the men above. Where do you see Kabelo Studios in 5 years?
Kabelo Studios having to 30 animators in house, having the team to 30 people within the studio, having multiple projects on Netflix, on Amazon, and on Hulu. I'm really want to have something on Disney Plus and BET Plus, which are platforms out of America. And our strategy is to be involved in the value chain of animation. So we are looking at different aspects of not just producing, but also distributing, and also with our 3 Teaspoons of Sugar, we started merchandising. So we had T-shirts and things that we're selling with the movie. So there will always be, merchandise with every product that we produce. And I tell you, what I want to see is more animated content for adults, as in adults in content like The Simpsons, where it's not only created for children, but series that adults can all consume and grow the animation industry within South Africa to more than it is right now. And some of the plans that we have are so huge that we're keeping them, close to our chest, but we have grand plan for our studio, our studio, and in the post-COVID, when we are free, I think every time we have a short medical film out, which was our plan there, is that when we have a medical film out, it will be coupled with health events. Like 3 teaspoons of sugar, we wanted to do is every time we showcase it, we do a diabetic testing, glucose testing. So every film that will be a medically added, we'll make sure that whenever we launch it, whenever we license it out, it will be health events. Because for me, I would like to see South Africa healthy. I'd like to see South Africans in control of their health and moving away from too much curative medicine to health promotion and preventative medicine. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, and just to add on, reason why we want to be involved in more than one aspect of animation, because animation is not just making this pretty baby and then figure out what's going to happen to it afterwards. And also because, like how you say, doctors have been done disservice where they don't get told the business side. It's the exact same creative. That's why there's a stereotype that if you're a creative, you will starve. So that's why we want to be involved in various aspects of the animation value chain to show that animation is something that can be profitable.
It can be a viable, sustainable business, basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, how has the competition received you? Because, I mean, you're getting into a space, there may have been 1 or 2 established businesses in the space. All of a sudden, there is this young woman wet behind her ears. She's not even 25 yet. And she is actually, coming up with things that are shaking our business. How has it been?
I mean, animation, at least in Africa, the community is quite tight-knit. And I think because we have created a niche for ourselves, I don't see us at the moment staying on anybody's toes. So there's been a lot of people embracing us. Like, for example, this friend of ours, Kat Arthur, she's a film director based in Ghana and in England. She's the one who encouraged us to make 3 teaspoons of sugar and showed us, okay, where can you go to get this film made? We'll have some contacts at, Trifish Animation Studio, which is currently the biggest animation studio in South Africa. Yes, in Cape Town. They do films. So we have some people there who give us mentorship, who guide us here and there, talk to them. So I'm finding that there's more of the people embracing us than
embracing you more than being threatened by you.
Yeah. But I also think the fact that I remember at a conference, I eavesdropped somebody talking, and they were talking about Kabelo, and they said, must watch this girl, So I think, Kabelo and Kabelo Studio is to be watched. And we've decided to approach this industry differently, and the medical animation has given us a competitive edge. Yeah. And because not only does it allow us to be part of the film industry, but it also allows us to be part of the medical industry. And so we have been able to set ourselves apart in that manner. So our films won't really be shown in theaters or in festivals, but they can also be seen in the workplace, for instance, because we are educating about diabetes, if I were to say. So I think, this is a special one.
Okay, beautiful. So we have 5 minutes to go. Now, if there are young people who have been inspired, or their parents have been inspired by this conversation, and how do they get hold of Kabelo to just ask questions around where do I start, and that kind of thing? or during VEC, can I just come in and just shadow for a day, that kind of thing. So how those who've got an interest in what you do, how do they contact you?
So this has actually happened quite often, especially for younger people, because they're very comfortable with social media. So people who want to know more about Kabelo Studios, follow us and ask us questions, they usually approach us on Instagram, either on the Kabelo Studios Instagram page, which is exactly how I've said it, Kabelo Studios, that's the Instagram page, or they contact me directly, which is just Kabelo. And then they ask their questions. And then also we can accept emails as well, email quiz from parents who are interested in learning more about animation for their kids. They can email kabelostudios@gmail.com. And it's Kabelo, CABLOW, studios@gmail.com.
And I just want to add to that to say that we have developed a podcast of the anime business of animation, because we realize that a lot of people want to get into animation, then there is business side of it. So there's the business of animation podcast where they can get information about how to get involved in animation. And we also have a mother and daughter podcast where we share, because for me it's very important parents support their children if they want to do non-traditional jobs. So we'll be sharing our story and sharing the stories of other moms and daughters all over the world, where we encourage, parents to think broadly and support their children in what they want to do with their lives, and making sure that they become who they were meant to be by God. So that for me is important. And so we have Mom and Daughter podcast and the business animation. Podcast.
Beautiful. So, Doc, I'm coming back to your business now. The scrap business, how is it going?
It's been a very interesting journey for me. I have created scraps, beautiful scraps for people, and I would like to split it up. So I'm looking for avenues to make sure that, doctors are sometimes we look at each other like, how can she now be a doctor? She's a doctor, so yeah. So I had to overcome those hurdles in order to be able to, but slowly but surely it's growing. And I would like to see it grow as far as Kabelo Studios. Kabelo Studios is not surpassing the T scraps, but I'm looking forward to to it growing, as I more deals in there.
Yeah. I hope the link, from the morning will actually work out. They really have to make sure that they get the manufacturing in this country by women-owned businesses. So I think that will give you a shot in the arm. Just give it your best, and you never know where it will take you. COVID is still going to be around, but scraps are needed now, and they will always be needed into the future. So it's a sustainable kind of business.
For sure.
So
thank you very much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, let's see what comes out, with the link that I made in the morning. So, Doc, from looking at your own journey and the journey of Kabelo, what would you say to parents? I'm going to come back to Kabelo to say, if you've got a dream and your parents haven't bought into the dream, what do you do? But let me start with Mom.
I think you need to understand you need to observe your children, see what it is that they like. And once picked up on what it is that they like, and nurture that and support it and help them grow it. And in this case now with Kabelo, help them monetize it. Give them the support. You can't do it personally, like I'm able to lead them where they can go, because I've realized that sometimes parents think that children will just grow and just do their own thing. But charity begins at home, and I've seen it with Kabelo and the other children in the family. If you support them and you give them the direction and you guide them through the maze of life, then they will succeed. Then we will bring up build up children that brings about a better society. So it all comes and begins at home. So support them on, guide them, lead them, and then that way, if parents can do that for their children, then we will be able to have a society where kids are focused, our kids are productive, our kids are members of society that we're proud of.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And I mean, for me, it's when your parents, so when your parents have very traditional careers, like my mother, who is a doctor, you have to show them that you're serious. And so, and you have to them both ways. You have to recognize that you have to do some aspects that are traditional. You have to do mathematics in school. You have to do English. You have to, as much as possible, give yourself the best possible chance into the conventional paths. But then you also have to show your parents how serious you are about your creative pursuits. So if it, at least now you have the internet, you can watch all the tutorials. You can show your parents examples of international and local people who have succeeded in what you want to do. You can say, Mom, look, I found this place where they can teach me the thing. Can I do an extramural in school? You really have to show your parents that you're serious, because once they see that you're serious, it's undeniable. They can't fight with it. And I would also say with parents, don't stifle the dream. Don't say, stop drawing, come and finish your homework. Let them do the homework and allow the drawing as a reward for doing homework, so that dream doesn't die in the process.
Beautiful. Now, I'm going to try something. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but I want you to share one of your videos. All right, Kabelo. Yeah, so I'll try and do it. If you've opened it, you go to share screen, and then you go to share screen, and then you click there. You look for what you want to open, and then you maximize the screen, and you play it. I hope it will work. Let's see. I hope the voice will.
Okay. Let me just get it together.
Yeah. If it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world.
No, she when it comes to techno, she will make it work. Yeah. The part.
There's a thing there for volume for the voice as well.
Even to wear mask.
Sharing voice.
Okay.
Let's see. That's good.
Are you making progress?
All right. Yeah, I'm making progress. Okay. Share. There we go. There we go. Whoop. Okay, I see.
There should also be some that says.
Oh, I see. Button is not here, but I can just send you over what I was wanting to share.
Okay, no, then let's leave it. Don't worry. Don't worry. There will be another opportunity if it doesn't want to play. All right. Okay. No, let's leave it for now. Let me see if I can try something on this side. If it doesn't work as well, it's okay. All right. We will be forgiven. You know, technology doesn't always work all the time. So let me see if there's anything. Right, let's see if it works. Hey. All right, it does not seem.
Lately, Tshepo has been under a lot of stress. He can't seem to get past the attempt
at the animation that we have created for PHS.
He is worried about his wife, who has recently been retrenched from her job. He doesn't know how they'll manage their growth. And His
and
daughter is
how the
struggling with a
product
bully at her
pages
new
that was
school.
created
All
to
that stress has made
support
him
them,
distant,
so that they,
moody,
they
and
wouldn't be disgruntled
irritable.
at work
He is uninvolved
and
and uncooperative
he's
in
such
meetings,
an
and he is struggling
uncooperative
to manage his workload.
employee, having
One day,
piles
his
of work.
colleague Thabo
This was
hands
the
him a
action that
card.
we have
Jabu
faced
is skeptical about this, but Thabo
program
says,
for
just try them out.
We're actually
They've
quite
helped me
proud
a
that
lot
we were
in the
able to
past.
create it
I don't need
quickly.
to call these guys, Jabu says. And anyway, this is how management keeps tabs on our personal lives. But Thabo assures Jabu that the Employee Assistance Program is a confidential and non-judgmental service. He just wants Jabu to be okay. So Jabu reluctantly agrees. In the early hours of the morning, Jabu decides to call. If they really are available 24/7, then a 1 a.m. call should be okay. He says a doubtful, hello, and is surprised to find a friendly and helpful voice on the other side. The counselor then asks him for his preferred language for the counseling sessions. She tells him that the service is available in all 11 official languages. Then she explains the various counseling options available to him. He could opt for video calls or face-to-face sessions. Trauma counseling is also available, and other options like financial advice. Jabu is relieved to know that there are many ways that he can get help for himself and his family. Since that first phone call, Jabu booked a one-on-one trauma debriefing session to overcome the hijacking trauma he experienced and to help him develop resilience. His wife joined him in a counseling session to discuss her retrenchment and ways to cope as a family. They were both impressed by the professionalism and credentials of the counselor. They've managed to improve their budget and spending habits through the advice of the financial advisor, and the child counseling service was a huge help in giving his daughter the confidence to overcome the bully and make new friends at school. Did we mention that his wife turned her longtime passion of baking into a business thanks to the counseling they received together? This has been a wonderful way for her to support her family. Jabu is finally back to his usual self. He is cheerful around colleagues, he gives his best during meetings, and he is catching up on all of that work. Jabu has peace of mind that support is available during difficult times, which allows him to stay focused and motivated at work. The Employee Wellness Program is available for all employees and their immediate family. Just call your unique company toll-free number or send a please call text for help.
All right. Okay. Let me see now. Right. So I just showcased what you guys made for us. It was a basic package, but people loved it. And the next time we brief you, it will be something a little bit, a bigger budget than what we gave you. But how was producing that, Kabelo?
So it was a good process because you guys had a clear intention for the project and a clear idea of the journey of the character. So for us, it's about taking all of the details of the products that you needed to showcase in animation and then turning that into a character-driven story. And once we found the main character, Jabu, and we said, okay, these are all the things that is going on in his life, and this is how to use the program. Once that was clear, then we were able to actually put it all together pretty smoothly once the character story is clear. So it was a good process.
Yeah, I think the brief was very clear, because sometimes you don't get a clear brief, and at the beginning there might be a bit of a challenge to where to go. But this, from you, we got a very clear brief, and the story is unfolding very quickly, and we are happy with product.
But doesn't when somebody comes with a clear brief, don't they kill the creativity of the creatives? Because I know creatives don't like to be boxed. Tell me what you want, but give me space to do my thing.
I mean, it really depends on the project. You know, some people, when we say clear brief, is because you know the intention. Even if you don't know what it's going to look like, you know the intention. For other people, it's difficult because they want the video to do a million things. And so we have to narrow down what is it they truly want the video to do. And then that's when we can make the video into what it needs to be. That's why, I mean, it can be a bit of both. It's fun to help the character get a clear, I mean, the client get a clear idea. And it's also really fun for us when we have a clear idea, because then the process coming up with ideas is much faster. People always say they don't want a box because they don't want to be limited. But sometimes the limitations are what force you to be creative with what you have.
Yeah.
So it's either or.
And also, it's not about the creator, it's about a product that you can work with, a product that is pleasing to you, that you can then be able to share with your network. So work with whatever. Sometimes they just give us one line, can you just create this in one? Then you have to unfold, you know, that's where the creativity comes in. But then we allow you to then give us feedback so that what is created is what you want. And relevant and in line with your company ethos and all that.
It's no good if I'm satisfied as creative, but my client isn't. It doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. So most you guys were told yesterday, so it's no longer a secret the thing about yesterday, right? I'm asking.
What?
Well, look, I think we were told.
Okay, let's leave it. Let's leave it. People will hear about it. Let's leave the name of the company, and as long as we're saying it's a JSE listed company that has given you business.
Yes, I think we want to just create the first part, and then we will then mention and then announce it.
No, it's fine. Let's leave it. Let's not steal your thunder. You are playing in the big league, and may you continue to play in the big league. And smaller entities like us will give you some pocket money, you know, from time to time, you know. But anyway, thank you very much for being my guest. I know you said it's going to be a long conversation, but I'm sure you did not feel this 1 hour 45 minutes. Eh?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I just want to thank all the listeners or the viewers who tuned in to actually look at this mom and daughter duo that is doing great things, you know, and this young lady who is destined, you know, for greatness in her chosen, you know, profession. So may we all, you know, support the dreams of our kids, and also through our businesses, support, you know, ventures of these young people, because the future of South Africa is really with them. And also the future of South Africa is actually on supporting small businesses. They will employ 5 people here, 10 people there, you know, because the big guys are now, you know, retrenching, downscaling. So we really need to get our economy going. And the only way to do that is to actually support young, you know, or small businesses like Kabelo Studios. So thank you very much. And thank you to all our listeners. Till next time.
Thank you.